Welcome to part 19 of Don't Say Schwarzenegger, my story about surviving an attempted unaliving and the cover-up and corruption that ensued. A-list celebrities and politicians and their offspring are involved. So this part, we're still dealing with the secret court hearings that were made for Alberto Driz because of the probation violation of being caught with the illegal white powder and the stolen loaded chambered pew-pew and the duffel bag of green plants that was found in all three Driz's homes. They were all in possession of it. So we're on the second hearing for this, back in Judge Schwartz's courtroom at the airport courthouse. Again, the one with the new case number, new judge, new jurisdiction, everything. So, Blair Berk, who was also at the time simultaneously representing Harvey Weinstein against the 100 or so women for SA, she's in court with Alberto. They're both present. And the judge, this one was crazy. We attended this, and it was wild. You could actually tell that Judge Schwartz was nervous. Like, he was nervous, and they all kept looking in the back of the courtroom at us, like whispering, like all the attorneys, the judge, everybody was whispering. It was pretty insane. So Judge Schwartz says, he opens with, okay, so the disposition is a lot more complicated than when we originally took the plea. There's a lot more stuff behind the scenes here. You don't say. And this is one of the most interesting things, one of the most, not the most interesting thing that he says. He says, like, nervous. It was so weird, his vibe. I am not into political stuff in this court. So I don't get into anything. I just do my job. And I don't have a thing for anybody. I just do my job. And I'm not interested in any of the back information. So I'll leave that by itself. We were like, what does that even mean? It almost sounds like he's saying, I'm just being told what I've been told to do. I don't want to know what I'm doing. Like, and this, by the way, this is the second judge now in like a week that said, I don't want to know any back information. I don't really care. Just like Judge Mader said, I have no interest in resolving this matter. I don't really care. So all the judges are saying, look, my hands are clean. My hands are clean. I don't care. And I don't know what's going on. So that's, can't stand them. Anyways, then the judge says, I personally spoke to Judge Mader, and she agreed to send the case. And then he says that his clerk just verified, like that morning, that the case hadn't been sent yet. So now, this is just so weird because this isn't how democracy works. So then he says, so I'm going to attempt to get the case again. I will call later today and talk to the Judge Mader or the clerk and say, look, please, we need this file because we've got to wrap this up. It's interesting, almost like there's a lot of pressure on Judge Schwartz to take this case away and then wrap it up as soon as possible and free them and make sure they don't get to prison. This is crazy. So then Blair Berk, famous Weinstein attorney, says, okay, great. And if we could get the file in the next couple weeks, and then the judge responds, I will call you, and then we'll call you to come in. I don't know if this is normal. Do judges usually get on the phone, on cell phone, and like talk privately with all the attorneys and stuff? Because I don't think I've ever had that happen. So then, Blair Berk, she asks, after all this, after Alberto admitted to having the pew-pew in his possession, and there was the white powder that he was caught with, and there was the duffel bag of the green plants, Blair Berk asks that Alberto be allowed to travel to Mexico. But again, they're on felony probation for a violent crime, and they've also been kicked out of private jail for showing up drunk and trying to fight the staff there. So, not that that matters in this case. She asks that Alberto be allowed to travel to Mexico twice a month for business reasons associated with the company he owns called United Medical Devices. Look it up. See what you find. Then the judge says, and he says, he's like, great, that sounds amazing. And then he says to the people, like, any objections? And the DDA, the newly assigned one that replaced the amazing guy, that's David Schorr, DDA David Schorr, he says, I can't think of an objection. So the judge says, cool, it's all good, change the probation, they can do that. And then he says, we're going to delay sentencing for like 5 weeks until November 17th of 2017. And then he says again, the judge, I'll call the court downtown to make sure they give me the case again. This is intense. He is fighting to take this case away from Judge Mader. He is fighting to help Blair Berk keep these men free. This is going to be my shortest part yet. I'm going to end it here because we're going to start with the next hearing. And we're going to get into the Schwarzenegger stuff. Thanks for everybody for being so patient also for the last week. My PTSD was just, and I couldn't do much of anything. So it was the longest break I've taken in any of my parts. And I'm going to try to do them every other day or more if I can. But thank you so much for everything.